Hello there, precious person, and welcome to a new Monday with me, Avril Q, on my channel, Avril's Qs. So, today I wanted to start off something in order to get you prepared, to get me prepared for the new year. We have exactly 2 months for the new year. And so, what about putting out our intention into the universe? And not just that, but it's going to be a kind of a roadmap to get to where you want to go. Today, I want to talk about the reasons why we don't succeed. Why is it so difficult for us to succeed when we have the intention, we have the tools, we have the knowledge, the potential power, but yet we are not successful? So, drop into your heart center and just think, what are you not doing? And I'll give you the answer a bit later, but I want you to first think, what are you not doing that is not giving you the results that you want? So, what are you not doing that is not giving you the results that you want? Do you have any idea? Okay, let's keep on talking about what do you want to succeed at and why do you not succeed? So, number one, do you have a goal? Do you have a wish? Do you have a desire? What do you want to succeed at in 2023? Got it. Now, here are some of the reasons why you may not be successful. Number one, you're too scared. Now, I've written a book, You Should Be Scared, How 7 Key Fears Can Set You Free. I'll link it in the description below. Pick up a copy of the book. It's less than the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Okay. Why do you get scared? It could be the fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of non-conformity, the fear of not being good enough. It could be any of these fears, and we don't know when these fears have started. When did they stem up? So, when you come to a therapist like me, an energy therapist, a counselor, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, we go back into the past with the use of therapy. Again, I've spoken about the differences between coaching and therapy in one of the playlists. I'll link that also in the description, or I'll link it up here. We need to understand why we are scared. And when we understand why we are scared, when we understand the real reason as to why we are scared, then we can move forward to living a life of success and to making our dreams come true, our goals being fulfilled. Because if we are continuously in this cycle of fear, it engulfs us, it swallows us, it doesn't allow us to think straight. Because remember, I've spoken about this before, the main intention of our brain is to keep us safe. So if we have a fear, that means the fear is basically generalized by the mind as the fear of survival. And so, in order to keep us alive, the brain will shut us down and not allow us to go forward until that fear has been resolved. So, we need to resolve the fear. Okay. Number two is the lack of self confidence. Now, what is the lack of self confidence? Again, self confidence could stem from different, maybe events in our life, different circumstances in our life. Maybe our caregivers told us that we, weren't good enough to take decisions, or maybe they made every single decision for us. Especially growing up in the 70s and 80s, I know it happened to me a lot, where my parents, God bless them, did the best that they could for me with the knowledge that they had, but they never allowed me to make my own decisions. So as I grew up, I didn't have that belief in myself. I didn't have that confidence to make decisions. I had confidence as a singer. It was a talent that I was born with, a talent that I honed. But when it came to making decisions about things, because they had made decisions for me all my life, I was underconfident of making the right decision. So, lack of confidence can creep into every area of our life. It could be our relationships, it could be our careers, it could be our sense of self, means our relationship with ourselves. It could affect our self esteem. It could affect every area of our life. It could affect our financial stability, our ability to earn more money. And I've been through all of these, and that's why I can relate so clearly to, a lack of confidence, because everybody saw me as very confident, especially when I was on stage in show business, when I was writing songs, when I was playing an instrument. People thought I was confident. And when I told a few people that I was actually not confident of taking decisions in my life, and every decision that I had made was basically based on what somebody else thought, people were like, really? Didn't seem like that at all to us. So, lack of confidence. Number three, the stress of everyday living. Now, life is so stressful, right? I mean, everything is an added stress. The stress of time, the stress of commuting, the stress of conversation, the stress of making a to-do list, the stress of raising children, the stress of looking after your parents, the stress of looking after your in-laws. Everything is surrounded by stress. Now, our parents and grandparents didn't have this much stress, right? But we have this stress. It's kind of built into us. We wake up with stress, we go to bed with stress. Why do we do this? Because we don't know how to process this stress. Now, when I do coaching with people, which is not therapy, it's coaching. Again, in the same video that I'm going to link down, it'll explain the difference between coaching and therapy. When I do coaching with people, we try to find out exactly what are their stressful triggers in everyday life. Now, this has nothing to do with your past. We need to find coping mechanisms through the methodology of coaching to find how can you cope. So we can use mindfulness, we can use micro mindfulness techniques, we can use active meditations, we can use passive meditations, we can use reasoning, we can use breath, pranayama. We can do so many things to quieten down that stress. So when you're stressed and your mind is going da 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 da, it's going 1,000 different directions, 1,000, like in a single second, sorry. It's very difficult for you to focus on what really matters. And to be successful, you have to be focused. So think about it. Either your brain can focus on one thing and do it well, or it can go after the shiny object syndrome, or it can be stressed, or it can be distracted, and where it's not going to be living up to it's not going to be operating up to its full potential, right? So this is exactly what I'm talking about. So before we move on to the next one, please do me a favor and click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you get notified every time I release a new video. Also, please share this channel with at least one person, ideally three people, because there are so many people who can't afford the services of a coach or a therapist, and I'm both, and I can help them for free. So let's move on to the next one. Number four, non-implementation of the advice of a mentor or a coach. Now, this is a big one. So, for instance, there's a Calendly link down below, and there's a Calendly link on my Linktree link on Instagram. And anybody who inquires gets the Calendly link as to how they can book a 30-minute free chemistry session with me. Now, what do we do in this chemistry session? In the Calendly form, you'll fill out your core issue that you think you're having a problem with. We bring it to the table, and in a Zoom call, we discuss it for 35 minutes, 35 minutes. Now, after that, I will explain to you as to what I think needs to be done. You will tell me what you would like to do, and then we work on a plan where we combine therapy and coaching if you need it. Otherwise, we only do therapy first or coaching first. Of the methods or a combination of the methods, either and. 90% of people never come back. Why? Because it requires them to do something. It's not just talking, like you go to a counselor or a talk therapist. With no disrespect. I respect all of these individuals. But when you just talk to somebody and it's not followed up with any action, because that's the primary thing of the therapy is talking, getting it off your chest, right? I'm sure they give you actions also. I know a few counselors, and of course, they'll give you some journaling. They might give you some kind of a thinking exercise, something or like a deep dive thing. No matter what it is, if you do not take action, if you don't be a participant in the therapy or the coaching, you're not going to get better. That's a big reason why people don't succeed. Number five, you're feeling overwhelmed. Now, feeling overwhelmed is a very human thing. I feel overwhelmed a lot of the times when I have too much work. I've got to shoot for Instagram. I've got to shoot for YouTube. I've got to put out content on on LinkedIn. I've got to study for my certifications. I've got to peer coach. I've got to coach my clients. I've got therapy with people. I've got healings with people. wow, it can get a lot, right? So I feel overwhelmed. When you feel overwhelmed, it's a part of stress. It's a kind of stress where you procrastinate because you're not sure whether you can accomplish the goal. So you think it's better that you don't start. So you procrastinate. Again, the mind is playing tricks on you. And when you feel overwhelmed, you feel like it's also got a little bit of a perfectionist thing going on there, right? Because you say, oh, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it perfectly. And I'm just feeling overwhelmed now. So I can't take action. I can't do this. I can't da da da, fill in the blank. Now, this keeps you from success because unless you step up to the bar and you get out of your comfort zone and into uncomfortable zone, any athlete, any high achiever, any multi-millionaire, billionaire, anyone from from Tony Robbins to Oprah Winfrey to Michael Phelps to Usain Bolt to whoever, right? Roger Federer, they all had to step out of their comfort zone. If you think you can grow in comfort, no. Even a plant has to struggle through the soil and have a little bit of pain to break through and reach the sunlight and grow towards it. We have to do the same thing. We are struggling at the surface and we don't see results, and then we think, oh, it's too overwhelming, I don't know, and we stop. Wrong. Continue. So these are the 5 things that could be stopping you from success. Now, if you want to take your life to the next level, why don't you book that free 30-35 minute session up, after this? And then you've really got to think about, am I going to take action? You could take the action, the advice I give you in that 30-minute therapy and coaching call. You could take that advice and do it yourself, full marks to you. Or you could learn and do something from me because I have the experience of training thousands of people, either in cohorts or individually, I can give you a map that's really going to work for you. And we'll partner on this together. If that's something that you'd like to do, please feel free to book a call and I'll see you there. And then we'll take it from there. Till then, stay true to being you, precious person, because you matter. And I am Avril Q, your sister in alignment and healing. Atma Namaste.